Thus, once an officer or institution is summoned to appear before the committee and give excuses for not appearing without a prior authority from the chairperson, he or she, they will be in contempt of the committee. Before representing any report or testimony, all officials shall take the prescribed oath to be administered by the clerk to the committee. Institutions, number 3, institution officers shall submit both hard and soft copy of their annual report. The current operational arrangement, it is against this background that the Select Committee on Regional Government, Land Ombudsman and IEC of the 6th Legislature convened this session with the Ministry and all the agencies under its purview, such as the Land Commission, Department of Community Development, regional heads, the Ombudsman, and the chairperson of the Independent Electoral Commission to brief you on how the committee intends to engage with you. The briefing exercise aimed to bring to your notice the work plan of the committee and to acquaint you with the constitutional and statutory provision whose understanding presupposes the implementation of the work plan. Identifying the objective of the establishing the committee, explain the responsibility of the relevant stakeholders whose participation and collaboration are indispensable in monitoring and performing of the regional government land administration, the Electoral Commission, highlight the negative consequences of weak oversight and map out a way forward for effective collaboration to enhance successful outcome in safeguarding respect for all, for an adherence to the fundamental in compliance with the procedures and process which make monitoring and timely intervention to prevent or remedy possible shortcomings. It is also important to note that all the annual report previously scrutinized by the committee shall henceforth be scrutinized by the Finance and Public Account Committee of the Assembly. Therefore, recommendation and resolution of the FPAC shall be taken up by this committee to ensure implementation. So I think this one is well understood because the FPAC committee, they will be taking all the financial aspects. So, and we will be reporting to them on financial matters. So in conclusion, the committee is taking cognizance of the indispensability of constitutional and statutory obligation to present to the National Assembly timely annual audited account and activity report of all institutions created by an Act of Parliament. By doing so, a fair and true assessment of the strength and weakness of this institution could be determined on an annual basis in order to make recommendations requisite for the development as viable institution capable of making meaningful contribution to the socio-economic development of the country. It is important to emphasize that such reports shall be scrutinized by the Standing Committee on Finance and Public Account, even though this Select Committee can also request for such report whenever the need arises. As a result, the committee have resolved that all pending report is submitted for scrutiny by our sister committee. So on that note, we look forward to a fruitful engagement in this legislative term, and we thank you for your kind attention, please. So, members. So, if you have any question concerning about, I think, yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much. I think commend you for a well-presented statement. And on behalf of the team, I acknowledge we'll just hand over to the BS to make a quick response, and then we can proceed from there if possible.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, and the members of the Select Committee. wish to join the Honorable to thank you for receiving us. And then we also promise to collaborate and work with you to the interests of the Gambians who we are serving, both of us. As a ministry, we have 5 departments under the ministry. And these are the NGO Affairs Agency. And I would like to inform the committee that the director has joined us now. She is Madam Musu Soko. And we also have the Directorate of Lands and Surveys, headed by Mr. Keba Sise. We have the Directorate of Local Governance, headed by Mr. David Gomez. We have the Directorate of Community Development, headed by Fatou Jiba. And last but not the least, the Directorate of Physical Planning and Housing, headed by Mr. Mahmoud Manja. As you can see, this ministry is a loaded ministry. We also have the religious affairs handled by the same ministry. The technical arm that deals with land matters are the Department of Lands and Surveys and Department of Physical Planning. And the Department of Lands and Surveys deals with the actual land surveying, evaluation, and also the administration, that is the cartographic and the administration of land in general. Whilst the physical planning do, as the name implies, the physical planning of the land where the development control, they also do planning and the housing component of land in this country. NGO affairs, we all know in every country, government cannot do it alone, which require the support of non-governmental organizations. So the NGO affairs agency give that support, oversight function on the coordination, monitoring and evaluation of activities of NGOs in the country. The ministry just recently has put in place a bill which is yet to come to you. It's at the cabinet paper level, where our NGO bill is formulated, and the cabinet paper is already prepared. We send it to our other stakeholders for their comments, which will be incorporated for submission to the cabinet, then later to the National Assembly. Also, they are looking at, we all know that now a lot of countries are complaining that NGOs do have or been used by other agencies for some ill activities in countries. We are cognizant of this, and then we have factored this in the bill so that it takes care of money laundering and other illicit activities that might be associated with that area. But at the same time, they also have a monitoring and evaluation system that look at the activities and the intervention of NGOs in the country. And in future, we are looking at possibilities of looking at NGOs to have them diversely spread into the country, so that we don't have all NGOs concentrated in Congo, but then they could be also intervening in our country where their services are not needed. We have the Directorate of Local Governance, which is dealing with the local councils, as well as the admin arm, which is the governors, chiefs, and alcaldes, the local government authorities. In that section, we also formulated what we call the review of the Local Government Act has been completed. I think the act is currently going to go on the national validation, and then we will prepare a cabinet paper so that it will come before you for that act to be amended, so that much of the bottlenecks will be addressed in that act. Already the consultation with the local councils, the regional authorities has been done. The other policy within that area is the Local Government Finance and Money Act, which has gone through all this, and until it is validated, it is at the process of preparing the cabinet paper. That one is also at that stage. This unit is key and very important as the ministry sees the need by default. Before, the ministry was serving as the appointing body for the councils. And now the ministry has put in place what we call the Unified Local Government Service Commission, which is now responsible for the appointment, promotion, and dismissal of any staff within the council, so that the supervisory body, that is the ministry, will not be the referees and players at the same time. So they will be supervising the activities of these bodies. The Directorate of Community Development is one of the just what the minister is reminding me is we all know that governance, if you say local government authorities, they have two arms: the arm of development and the arm of administration. They look in parallel. The arm of development is the council, the councillor, and the VDC. They serve as development arm. And the arm of administration goes from the governor down to the chief and then the alcalde. So the Directorate of Local Governance is responsible for coordinating their affairs and also support in terms of their implementation of their activities. The Directorate of Community Development, I think this is one of the it's a household name in the Gambia. They intervene at the village level. They are decentralized, one of the most decentralized department in the country. They are down to the village level, and they are supporting a lot of other ministries in implementing their activities. But we also have in their area, we have some policy documents we are formulated and developing. That is the community development itself, their policy, and the policy for the MDFTs. Yeah, we also are working on this policy. This is multi-disciplinary facilitating teams that help these decentralized structures to make their work easy. So they also help, they collaborate with the Directorate of Local Governance a lot in implementing at the decentralized level, that is at the village level, VDCs and the ward committees. And they do the training for the VDCs. Whenever VDCs are selected or the VDC is constituted in a particular community or a village, the community development is contacted through the council to organize training for them so that they understand their role and they understand their functions and they know how important, they also know how important that structure is in terms of our development. The Directorate of Physical Planning, as I said earlier on, is the most. So the ministry does the oversight function of coordinating and monitoring the activities designed to be implemented within the year and also projectedly up to maybe 3 years. And we also have a strategic plan as a ministry, even though we are looking to improve, to look into it, because when the strategic plan was being prepared, we did not have the NGO Affairs Agency under the ministry, and we also did not have at the time the religious affairs under the ministry. So their activities have not been captured in the strategic plan, and it's also outdated. We are working towards updating, constituting a new strategic plan that will run through a period. So basically, in short, we are also assigned the responsibility of religious affairs. Religious affairs we coordinate. For the first time, in the Gambia, I think both the Christian Council and the Supreme Islamic Council have been supported officially through the national budget, through the ministry to be given support to do certain activities. for their communities or the constituencies that they represent, that is the Muslims and the Christians. So basically, this is the main departments and ministry, if I capture it well, as our function. But before I go, I just want to state a few things here. That is, the ministry is both a revenue generating ministry as well as a spending ministry. And we have situations where new additions in terms of responsibility is being added to the ministry, but these are not coming with the support, financial support that is needed to support the ministry to accommodate those new additional responsibilities. So in short, what it means, if we are given $40 with 4 institutions, each of them is to get $10. Now there are 2 more. Now you still have to use that $10 to accommodate 6. So you can see that will affect the allocation for the 4 that has been getting $10 now to get each maybe $8 or $6 to be able to do their activities. This has affected the operation of the ministry as a whole, and also the technical departments as a whole. This is an expensive ministry that needed money to be spent on for them to be able to bring out money that is to be given out to others. I will bring this analogy one state by I think one National Assembly member, that once you are given a carcass to be shared between a mother wolf and a baby wolf. Naturally, our instincts will say we should give it to the baby wolf because it's the small one. Yeah. But the reality is the mother that should eat, so that it gets energy and able to hunt and feed the baby. Because when you give it to the baby, the mother starve and die, the baby will die eventually. So the analogy applied to us as a ministry. We are a revenue generating department, ministry. We should be given money to create money for others to live. But if we are not given money, we will not be able to create money, and then everybody will suffer. So I want to also register that we have what it takes to turn around this country. That is the systematic cadastral mapping. This has been done for countries like as close as Senegal have got into this project, and we can see the level of development in Senegal. We have seen the example of Rwanda. Rwanda, when they came out of the war, has to first get themselves ready to implement a cadastral mapping to enable the country to harness its revenue judiciously. So, domestic revenue. So, this is key. If we definitely want to move as a country, we should create revenue or give advantage to revenue generating points to be able to generate enough revenue to be able to support other sectors. And what it does is the systematic cadastral mapping will help this country to, yes, it will help this country to reduce the land litigated cases in the courts to almost zero. It will put money in the pocket of the government and also the local councils. It will also help us to have a proper addressing system in the country. Today, you want to deliver a letter to any of you in your house, the post office cannot do it. They will tell you to come and pick it at your mailbox, but they cannot deliver it to your house because of the lack of addressing system. So I'm just bringing this out as an addendum, just that we have this baby that we are nurturing, and then we will need your support as lawmakers, as our people who also support in terms of budgeting, to support us to bring out, to roll out this particular project, to be able to address issues surrounding our revenue. and also problems surrounding land matters, problems surrounding governance, problems surrounding cases in the courts will be fully addressed by this particular project. So with that, I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity to give this brief of the ministry's function. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I think I am speaking as chair. You, Honorable, you gave me the floor and then you will allow me to hand over the floor to you. Thank you so much. I will acknowledge this because I felt very hungry and you also refused me biscuit. I'm complaining that one first. But again, as my peers have alluded to, this ministry has the key to a turnaround of this country to be more self-dependent and improve the economic status quo of the whole state and turn out every development aspirations we have as a country. We realize the challenge and we know what it really means to face a challenge in this country. Notwithstanding, we will be giving the National Assembly, particularly this committee, the details of this information to be able to defend it in Parliament, not even to defend us in Parliament, but be able to talk about it in Parliament for the international community to know how vibrant your committee and the institution can be in terms of salvaging the people of this country. Notwithstanding, on your list, you will have the problems of the budget. I'm sure the budget issues, the, how do you call it, the midterm or the, how do you call it again? There will be supplementary budget coming to your desk very soon, and I don't know whether our office will be included, but I want you to consider and look at the regions we have, because we're talking about decentralization in this country. We must be able to empower the structures we need in this decentralization. I'm not forgetting one key institution that is looking at decentralization and making it possible in this country is the GTTI, how do you call it? RDI. The Rural Development Institute as one of the key institutions to empower Gambians, educate them, train them to be able to man our rural sector for equal growth. And without that, we think we'll have a problem. But we will know the details of it. But again, he mentioned religious affairs. Intermittently, I'm sure you'll be worried to call us on to answer some questions on religious and land issues. We will be very much ready and prepared towards it. But collectively, as we talk about the realities in Parliament and outside Parliament, can help us all redress these type of problems. Our directorates are available, and then you are free to contact any one of them at any given time to assist you in the progress of your presentations in Parliament. Councils, I'm sure you are all obsessed with councils within your various jurisdictions. We are very much prepared to give you any information support towards councils because they are our partners in development. They are our rural developers, and they are our community developers. So we are very much careful, and they matter to us a great deal. I'm sure a lot of matters will come to you in terms of that, but consultations can be the only key and driver for this. As PS mentioned, we will be proliferated with a lot of acts because we want to change the dimension and our focus of the state. And with this, we need to be very practical the way we approach them to make a change in this country. Because if we let them follow, like you propose an act, you bring it here and then it gathers dust, or it's in my office, it's gathering dust there from cabinet, it's not going to move us. So we are trying to bring all those dusty ones outside and present it to you people for enactments to make this country move. And we are very open and ready to collaborate with you and to face the facts of this country for us to all move. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. I think based on what you said and yes, we are also committed as a committee responsible for your ministry to work and to collectively achieve something for the Gambia. I think that's the focus. So, and I think each and every member of this committee, they are all committed. We had our first meeting, but it's through collaboration. And you also mentioned that your doors are open in all your other units or departments. So I think we can work in harmony just to make a change. So about the project of PS, the project that you're talking about, is it a project or that you are developing so far about the market where yes.
Yes, the project is already, we're looking for partners. Already we have got somebody who is ready to do it for the Gambia. We are doing further discussion with them. They have done it for part of Senegal. They are the company that did it for Rwanda and Kenya and it's in Malawi and about 150 countries they intervene in this world. It's a highly reputable company. We have engaged them. They, at their own cost, came to this country about 3 times, paid air ticket for more than 7 people to come and do this particular study, and then come up with a project document where we have technical specifications as we want as Gambia. One thing is for people to intervene in your country and do a study or a job, but it's another thing for it to address your problems. A lot of institutions approach us as a ministry to do this mapping, but the technical solution that they brought was not close to addressing our problem. It will just address part of the problem and leave the major part of the problem, that is the dispute in terms of boundaries, with us. So we had what we want for Gambia, and then we engaged them on what we want for Gambia. And then it was only this company, Table, which met our specification. And they are ready to even fund this 100%, provided that they can agree with government on the PPP arrangement, which we are further discussing with them. And then once we are clear at the executive level in terms of the format of the PPP and what it entails, I know it will definitely come to you for your ratification and confirmation, so that we'll enter into that agreement. But then, before then, as the Honorable Minister said, we will be engaging your select committee to give a better understanding of the project, so that you will be serving as mouthpieces. You will understand the whole project. We will share the whole project document with you. You understand it, and where you have doubts, we can clarify. And we have a tradition as a ministry. When we are doing some of these exercises, we like to invite a member of the National Assembly, the Select Committee, to be part of some of our activities, so that when issues come before you, there is somebody who at least will be linked to the whole exercise. So we will continue doing that, where we can get a member to attend. But to precisely say, yes, we have got this engagement, or to a point that we have at least identified the company that we feel can solve the problem, and then we are further discussing with them on terms of the partnership and all the details that it entails, so that we will spend the deal and then come out to the approving authorities to see to get it approved.
Thank you very much.
Now, before you rest the case, I want to add that because it's a document, it's precisely how do you call it? It's about 10 to 15 slides. 10 to 15 slides. If you organize yourselves any day, either you come to the office in the conference or you invite our specialists, they will come and give you a 30-minute presentation of the whole company. And there you will see what it entails, the challenges we face, and the outcome of it, the income we can generate as a state, and so on and so forth. You will know everything in just 30 minutes. You can be our visitor. I think we will be ready to give you that partnership anytime.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Minister. I think that is clear. Good afternoon, Honorable Minister, and all the invitees, the permanent secretaries, and all other relevant stakeholders here within our midst. We also want to congratulate you as well for your appointment. We are also newly elected officials, so I guess we really have, I would say, at least what they call a groundbreak as to where to at least move this country forward, because I think the spirits are all equal and the directions are equally the same, and the mindsets, hopefully. This is a situational briefing, of course. We are not here to just hit you out with questions upon questions. So I just have a little contribution, I would say, as per to the way forward in terms of our mutual benefits, which is making sure that we push this country to where really it should be. So in terms of the NGO aspects that you made mention, I personally have been working in charity for a couple of years, since 2013, I would say.
there are really problems within this particular area, because even now, it's come to my attention that even foreigners are tapping into these areas, using charity as a source of income generating, activities, coming here, just giving silly items to, poor communities here in the country, and going back to their countries, registering these charity groups and stuff, gaining monetary income, and then, using these things to their own benefits. So these are all things that we really need to look into. And in terms of charity groups too as well, I think, I don't want to be biased, but I think rigorous structures need to be put through in making sure that any group that is being registered as an NGO in this country has regional bodies, is well structured, and they are well assessed and inspected properly. And the second aspect I would like to put through is that I know that the religious affairs is under your purview, but it's been really, I would say, I don't like to say the word dormant, but it's really, there are issues that are going on in this country in terms of the religious, sentiments and all those stuff. I'm yet to hear the minister utter anything with regards to this, but hopefully he's working on it. Because
he has to.
I
think some of your colleagues are
okay, I have to take a look at it. Yes. But in terms of matter of religion, it's really of concern in this country, because I think religion is something that really bonds us together as a nation, and it's something that is really key and very close-hearted in terms of our beliefs. So these are things that we really need to uphold, and I think you have a very big role in unifying the country with your ministry. Also, I would like to make mention of the backlogs as well. Hopefully in the consecutive meetings we'll be able to take a look at these backlogs, because I think from even the documents that we received from the past, the fifth legislature, I would say, most of these problems that they made mention that what prevented them from moving forward in terms of their legislative business is due to these backlogs that have been dated back, some even in 2013, 2014, so it's really a problem. So these are all things that we need to look into. But as you guys said, you would provide us documentation with all relevant documentations in order for us to see how to move forward with things. And also, I would really like to know in terms of, if possible, if the Honorable Minister can shed light on this. It's really of key benefit to everyone here in terms of the subsidies from the government. Because the Permanent Secretary did mention that part of the key problems is finance. And we are, it's in our view to make sure that, we monitor these situations. I don't know if government have been really, collaborative in terms of, the subsidies given to your ministry. I don't know what's the situation, but hopefully you'll be able to shed more light on that. So finally, I just want to say, usually, it's kind of really tense, because from the fifth legislature, I think you guys have been locking horns. As time goes on, we also will be locking horns, but it's still for the benefit of the entire country. So we just want to push this country forward. And I'm seeing very determined faces who are really willing to contribute meaningfully towards the development of this country. And we just, this was a familiarization meeting, I would say, to introduce ourselves to as a new legislature, and hopefully together we'll be able to at least push this country forward. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Baji. We want to respond.
If you want me to accumulate them, no problem.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Colleagues, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Honorable Minister and team. First and foremost, I would like to congratulate you for the appointment and pray that Almighty guide you and protect you in your deliberations and execution of your work. Good afternoon to all Permanent Secretary and the directors. I think this is one of the most important ministries, if not the most important, because all the things that we are talking about in this country in terms of resources, in terms of all these ministries are on land. And this land is under your care. You know, and then secondly also, we all come from communities and families. And then the administration or effective distribution of that wealth to reach those families is under your care, which is local governance. You understand? So it means you people embody the most important sector of this. Which is why it's most important. I'm happy that I'm part of this committee. Honorable Minister, you have a vast experience. Having followed you, you were a parliamentarian. You became an ambassador, Senegal Gambia Secretariat. You became governor and now minister. So we have high hopes that you bring forward that experience, that commitment, that expertise, a new blood, a new life, and inject something in the ministry, and then with your good team behind you. But having grown up here, having been born here, we all know that we have issues in this ministry, like all other ministry. But since we are here, we have to talk about it. But then, as a committee, we are here to support you, to collaborate with you. Like somebody said, it's not like you're here with something, but then like the issues of budget, you also have to tell us what your issues are. We see how we can collaborate and effectively serve the people of the Gambia. So we want to that relationship to be smooth, to be positive. But then, personally speaking, like I said, having grown up in this country, I used to look at certain aspects of your ministry, and then let me start with physical planning. And then you tend to think of if it is effective, it is not being the most effective for this country. And I think policies have to be made so that for prosperity, so that they are implemented to. One case in example is, I come from a settlement like Kalindi, where from Itangli wetland, and then we see places that have been identified 400 meters from the wetland inland that are not specifically designed for settlement. They are for agriculture or other districts. And then for the past 30 years, people have now stationed there, and they have in fact encroached in the Tangli wetland, and they are now settling there, and this is prone to disaster. And then every like Ibo town, like Abugola, and this happens at a time that we have physical planning, and it's in the plans that those big places are agricultural settlements. No one is supposed to buy land there. And we see people settling there. Some are even building story buildings there for over decades. It's not now. So if I now die of physical planning, this might not be your fault. But I'm talking about a perennial problem of this country. We don't implement. It's good to make laws, it's good to make policies, but we do not implement. And you talk to people, they tell you it's political interference. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it is not. Sometimes you are from Alcalá too. Sometimes Alcalá will give Alcalá papers. And you get these people who go around, get documents from physical planning with a specification that is different from what is on the Alcalá paper. So it goes down to tell he who can graze the elbow of somebody, you get what you want. So those are the problems. This issue of physical planning not implemented. And we have people, even on highways, even these highways, you see people constructing on main highways. And this is something that has to be demolished. And sometimes, if these people are political stalwarts, physical planning also will have an issue to demolish. But we are here also to protect that one. I think if those are issues, the physical planning also should come and engage National Assembly as we talk around these issues. This is important. The issue also is about this land issue. Do we have land policy? If we have it, are we implementing it? I don't know. You talk about strategy. I don't think it's almost 2 years we are mid-year. There is no strategic plan, or you said when it happened, no departments came. But the old ones, is it being followed? You understand? Because we have these real estates also buying land. Sometimes they are land grabbers. Because real estate.
This session into a debate. I'm telling you.
No. I'm talking general overview of things, and not blaming anyone. General. general overview of the situation. Not like it's you. That's why I said if you are the director of fiscal planning, I'm not you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, the general overview
really
of the work ahead. Not particularly referring to any particular person occupying the position, but the work ahead. That's what I'm talking about. So we have those issues around here. So it's high time you look at it, land policy. Even somebody say NGO bill. Is it now? Would there be any need to have a real estate bill or something? You go technocrats and think about that. You understand? You understand? I can personal greetings to Madam Fatou Jiba. She was director of governance when I was at council, and now she is somewhere else. She is good in what she does. And then we are appreciative when I was at the council level to have worked through the ministry and other things. So the other issue is like mapping. The PS, I'm glad you're making efforts to that, and I think you speed up that thing, and then we encourage you to do that, because when we have 57 years of independence, we cannot even have a correct map. And it was unfortunate that the Google mapping was using the map that IEC used, the political boundaries. And then you have places that are in Bundu, they are labeled, they put tracks, they are telling the places that are in Bundu. So it brought a lot of confusion, and later I realized GPOS was relying on IEC database, and that was political boundaries. So it's important that you're working on this, and we'll encourage you to speed up. On the issue of this bill you're talking about, the review, I don't know when I think there is need to stakeholder consultation, or you want, because I think I am a proponent of decentralization, and I believe for any effective development, there must be effective decentralization. You cannot shed power at one end and you put strings on it at the other end. And then when you mean review, it means total review, to give power to councils, and then to make councils responsible to the people, accountable to the people. And then in that way, we will be learning what we are. The last thing I want to react to, since there are a lot of these things, I'm very passionate about your ministry.
I appreciate it.
I'm very passionate about your ministry. The last thing is this religious thing he mentioned. And then I'm just from the defense ministry, I'm a member of the defense committee. There's this issue at Mort Ali. And then the issue is cannot only be solved by military intervention security issue. It has a religious background that fuel the tension. And I think your ministry will play a key role in working with the security sector to see, because one of the things that sparked that tension is the recommendation of the TRRC that the court verdict should be respected in bringing that legal to come back. And they started having classes, a series of classes. The third one just became very destructive, and then we can expect and future attacks as well. So I think you put that into focus, see what are the root causes of it, and work with the security so that we have eternal peace around that end. That is the religious aspect I want to bring on. Thank you very much, Madam Minister.
Yes, my co-host or he will respond.
No.
No, because you want to answer. It's like question.
What I want, there are several questions.
This is more of a briefing session, and we will have you again.
I want you to, this is a briefing session.
Yes.
Okay, if it is that, then for
This
is just a comment. Yes. So it's just a briefing session. We can just give ideas. Well,
I think
before you throw all your bullets.
Yes.
So why
I
can't
want to receive some.
Yes, can I just have a comment? This is not a question as mentioned. Honorable Minister and your team, we welcome you very well, and we are happy that you are here. First, I would just want to congratulate you for your new portfolio. We have no doubt that you will perform well based on your experience. I just want to start from where my colleague has ended his comments with regards to the issue of Mort Ali. I knew that you visited the area when you were doing your familiarization talk, and I have to commend your team for that wonderful job that you have done. PS has mentioned certain issues that you have at hand, and definitely, as Honorable Njai said, we are here to support each other for the betterment of our country. We know that you have this country at heart, and we also have the same thing. So when you talk about budgeting, PS is very important. It is one of the most important part of government. And I think the FPAC would be able to work with you and support you on your budgeting. As it is always said, we don't make budgets here. You prepare your budgets and you bring them. And I hope that whenever you are bringing certain things like that, you will put into consideration of the systematic cadastral mapping. I know that it will definitely cost a lot of funding, but as you mentioned, if the company is ready to pre-finance it, that would definitely do us good. But if they are ready to pre-finance it, I think it is also important that we prepare ourselves at the moment. More especially the Department of Physical Planning. They have to play a very good role on this issue. So, and I have no doubt that maybe by, as of now, if you are expecting that you will have it done, by now you should have been preparing yourself so that all the necessary things that needs to be put in place would already be there before coming on with certain issues like that. I understand that we also have the Lands Act, so probably there might be things that are not captured which might fall in at the moment. If you want it to be subjected to review, you are highly welcome. We can maybe look at certain parts of it and do some little bit of adjustments. Maybe that would also help the ministry in exercise of its function. So it is very important. And Honorable Minister also mentioned that there is something that you will want to present to us. So I think we will be very, very much happy as a team if we can have it available. Maybe our able clerks will be able to set up a date so that we can have that presentation done at the assembly if possible. On that note, I also have to thank all of you, and once again, as I mentioned, we are very happy and we are ready to work with you hand in glove to make sure that we push this country forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. For the issue of supporting, is this committee that can support you at the initial stage. When you come, we put everything together, then later send to FPAC. So with that for the budgeting. So there also we will still support you at any level. Just for us to achieve our common goal, this is very important because we also want to achieve something so that tomorrow when we leave here as a committee, we can say this is what we achieved. And we also try to build that relationship between you and all the other agencies that are connected with you. So on that note, I think you have something to say.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon to you all. First of all, I want to congratulate the Honorable Minister for your nomination, your appointment. And I also want to thank all the members of the staff of the Ministry of Regional Government, Lands and Religious Affairs. I may not have much to say because as the saying goes, he who feels it knows it. I am just from the ministry. I was as a deputy governor from there, so we know all the problems that the ministry is facing, and being in the committee with you guys, and also collaborating with the minister as the PSA, we need to collaborate. The ministry and this committee need to collaborate. That is a matter of must, because we are each other's brother's keeper. We know there are a lot of loopholes in the ministry. These are things that you inherited. These are things that we need to table together and see how best we can move the country forward. You mentioned a lot of development that are really welcoming and these are promising. We want to assure you that collaborating with this committee, and so if not all, but 90% of all that you are trying to do will be implemented. As previous speakers have said, this ministry, I normally said, is one of the biggest and the most important ministry in the country, because looking at its nature and its dealings, we know for Gambia to move forward, Minister of Lands needs to adjust itself and its dealings functions, and be that how do I call it, that innovative. These are things that we are yearning for. But hearing from the peers, we know really there are big things coming. We want to assure you, we cannot work in isolation. We have to work hand in glove to make sure this ministry moves. We are here as members of National Assembly, but we are also from the communities. We know what is going on in the community, especially in the rural settings. There are a lot of things that are lacking. Some of them, as mentioned, when it comes to physical planning. We have a lot of problems in terms of encouragement, in terms of land grabbing and all those things. And even sometimes the way the mapping are done, especially the community that I am from, you cannot have two doggy carts passing by. So these are things that we need to try to think of. Physical planning come with better planning, better policies, that whoever is to construct something, there must be a control measure as to how we demarcate our roads, even our homes. So these are things that we think we can work together. Just want to thank the ministry for your cooperation and taking your time from your busy schedule to come here. This is something that is worth commending. We thank the minister, the PS, deputy PS, technique. We say thank you so much for coming.
And Gomez too.
Yes, Gomez was my former boss.
I'm always in his office, so.
Thank you.
Honorable, I think so. I have just a comment to try this head of the community development. So I don't know about RBI. Are you thinking to, at least try to, expand? Because nowadays there are a lot of young people who really want to get into community studies and stuff like that. And I understand some of us, wanted to go there, but at that time, the space was very limited. And normally now, you all know, it's very demanding. So I don't know if you can also try to have a kind of another satellite institution, not even in Manzakongo, but somewhere else. So that, because this is all about community, and our community, we are representing the grassroots people. And these people, if they have development, then we are fine. Whatever we are doing here, at the end of the day, all the committees are important, but at the end of it, this one here deals directly with the people on the ground. So, and I think, and your department also, whether you normally have some of your strategies and plans in terms of community development, because there could be so many strategies that we can do to address so many things across the country in the area of water. Why can't we come up with a strategy where in every village we see how best we can, do something? But it's all about strategy. But with time, I think we will brainstorm together. The community.
Yeah, I think they are coming some days. So this is so.
Okay. Yes. Madam Clark is reminding me, we are meeting you again on the 4th July. Then we can discuss further.
Yeah.
And also the presentation, I think we will have that one separately, because so that we can discuss more about the project, isn't it? Please, thank you. No, you can, yes, Honorable. Yeah.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Honorable Chair. Thank you for giving me the floor. Good afternoon, Honorable Minister and your team. I also seize this opportunity to congratulate you for your new appointment. Well, I have a question, which is we all aware about the Mariama incident at the court, and there is also an incident which is very trending in my constituency. I don't know if I can ask questions now. The Honorable Minister knows what I'm talking about. Sure, and there is there is this village called Teme. They have already cultivated in their farms, and a native village called Kudam. They come and claim the lands, claim their farms, and they plow on their cultivated farms. I don't know, what is your ministry take on that? Thank you.
Okay, Honorable Minister. Honorable Minister, I think you got the question.
No, because we are just trying to see so that they
Yes, okay, now.
No, we don't want to go with Como, please. Allow us to say here.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
Please. It's going to be, we're going to be very brief, right?
Yes,
Because
exactly.
it's
Yes,
not a
yes,
debate, but to give you a-
yes.
Yeah, we will have time to discuss each matter. But this is just a briefing session. I think we don't need to keep you.
Yes, we want to brief you again about all these things for everybody to be at the same level, then we can all move on.
Okay. Thank you very much. I think there was a concern regarding the RDI for its expansion. As a ministry, we do not only want to support RDI to be able to expand, but we also want to use RDI as a ministerial institution. As we know, these technical departments we mentioned here, they don't have a training facility in the country, like physical planners, surveyors, and the like. We don't have training for them. So we want to sort of bring in modules at RDI that will be able to train people, even at the lowest level, like certificate level, so that they understand their job and they are able to function. But I will be quick to say that RDI did receive support through the budget allocation. I would say thank to the National Assembly Select Committee to give 5 billion the year before, and this year 5 billion, making 10 billion to uplift the facelift RDI. I think it will be necessary for you to visit RDI, and then if you see the conditions that the students are living, definitely it was pathetic. And at the end of the day, even the teaching staff was scaling down because of the condition of the school. But I would say, thanks to the National Assembly again, that we have got that 10 million that we are doing some structural adjustment in terms of their classrooms, and also we have got support from another organization to uplift their dormitories. So we are also looking at further support through this National Assembly to see how we continue that trend of providing something, not everything in 1 year, but something in 1 year and we go along. The major problem with RDI is the allocation given to community development that also caters RDI. So these people don't understand that community development's budget incorporate RDI. So like the allowance they give to, stipend they give to students, you give them $1,000. You want them to have feeding and other needs from 1,000. I think if not the support of their parents and other things, it's not going to work. So these are things that we need to look at how we actualize, how we make things reality. You know, we need to look at that. So I think that one and the review of the act, I think the rest, the Honorable Minister will come into those ones. The review of the act have started sometime, like that of the NGO affairs. But these things got stalled because we have the National Constitution Review going on at the time. And we all know all policies take due from the Constitution. So we were at that stage waiting for the finalization of the Constitution so that we will finish our act. But now that we've seen that as well, so we said let's complete. When the Constitution comes, we'll do another review to align our acts to wherever there could be changes in the Constitution. In terms of the land policy, we are working on it with the World Bank. We have never got a land policy in this country. So that is hence reflected in the condition and the situation of what is happening. We're also working on the formulation of the real estate bill, as you said. We are working on it and the land policy. Then the rest, the Honorable Minister will take care of that. Thank you very much.
And then the rest assured that these policies are going to be expedited in terms of
its preparation, because you cannot have a headway without this type of policies and programs for a state. So we are not relenting in any of those things. But starting from the end, where we mentioned about Kudang and Temenye as a community, I am well aware about the surroundings of that. But there has been judgments about that area, Honorable Member, for quite a while. What we started doing about Temenye and Kudang relationship was to appeal, as per the judgment, from the people of Kudang to be able to allocate some piece of land for Temenye to do their agricultural production. And the Alikali then, before the current Alikali, who is the son, the mother was the Alikali, who definedly mentioned that Temenye is in the lands of Kudang. So there is nobody to define its ownership by the results of the court. So we don't have anything to say on that one. So we send call notes to Kudang to go back to Temenye and create some space, at least a breathing space for Temenye to be able to do their agricultural productivity. And I think that has been done. Karim, who is not satisfied with it, is moving on with it to a very high level. We ask him, you have the right. If you are not satisfied with the group tribunal, you can still go to the High Court. And I think from the day the PS engaged them last week, they came here for that discussion, and he's been referred to go to High Court, and he said he's going to High Court to challenge the judgment. We said that's okay with us. But again, this is how far we went. It's a perennial problem. It has been happening here since about 5-10 years ago. So notwithstanding, we at that time did our best, and we will continue to do our best to avoid them from going to court and for people to understand and create a breathing room for each other in terms of agricultural productivity and land issues. For Kunkujang, as you are aware, you mentioned that it is in court. Yes. When this thing started, we called them to discuss the issue with them. But what they told us as a ministry was the matter is in court, they cannot make their documents available to us at the time. So we have the say. We said, okay, let's wait for the court to come. And as a matter of fact, any of land issues that goes to court, the ministry will have to wait until it is addressed there, then we can take a course. Because we cannot compete with ourselves in terms of determining ownership or determining upheavals within land and land systems. Now, as you've mentioned, to be honest, this mapping system is our pride and it's our joy to make sure we turn this country into a self-dependent nation in terms of our yields, our production, our everything. And this cadastral system is going to avail this country that. It's not going to be only the Ministry of Local Government Lands. It's going to be interlocking with all other institutions, the police, the immigration, the GRA, you name them, all are going to be beneficiaries within this. And it's going to make documentation and personal statuses more responsive in this country at that time when we are obliged to do it. So we really cherish this, and the ball have started rolling, and we are rolling it non-stop. We are facing it, and we face it throughout. As you said, to make you a favorite, Mr. Baji, the Deputy Permanent Secretary, will be available to any time you would need an introduction or an in-depth of this project to you at any given time. Mr. Baji will wait because it's 1 hour, 30 minutes maximum, unless you have questions. It's just 30 minutes presentation. It will not take more than that. Backlogs on council's response to National Assembly questions or submission of documents. Those things will be a foregone conclusion because we are sort of stimulated to go out across the country once again to discuss with councils and governor's office about the responsibilities we owe to our people, particularly the National Assembly. We are accountable to our people and we are supposed to respond to the demands. Everybody knows that you are supposed to present an annual report and an accounted audits. Not so. Audited accounts to the National Assembly. Everybody knows about it. So how can it be year in, year out when we are still not there? All right, we can accept or agree that capacity can be a problem, but let's try, we will try to address the capacity problems and to make this presentation up to date to avoid this backlog of issues, to let the country move on. NGO, I think the lady and the PS mentioned, and you are okay with the NGO systems. We are also not very comfortable with the operational system of most NGOs in the Gambia. I'm a living witness. I'm from the rural areas. I've governed in the rural areas, so I know what it means for NGOs to be operating in those areas. We are putting a stick and checks on those ones. So we are not relenting in that activity to make sure we control, not even to manage, but we are going to control the proliferation of these institutions within our regions or our country at large. Religion, we are not taking religion lightly. No, okay. He's talking about charities not being under our ministry. They register with the Attorney General's chambers and goes operational. But the ministry definitely will have to take its tentacles to observe and know, because anything that is rural is governance though, but it's rural development. We need to be part of it. We need to know what it means to be part of it or to be existing in those areas. Okay, religion. I have my own religion denomination. You have your own religion denomination. And Allah says in the Quran that everybody has your religion, you live by your mantra. You know, our problem in this country is we are trying to attribute attitude to religion. Certain behaviors are not religious. As we mentioned, Kermod Ali is not a religion. It's a concept, it's a behavior, it's a behavioral pattern in this country. That's the way it could be defined, because when you say Ndigal is an authority. Authority is not a religion, it's a behavior. I give you an authority and instruct you to act. So if we accept those actions and activities in this country, we are going to be doomed. So we categorically mention to them that those are behaviors that a country cannot accept or condone. There is a law that governs our behavior. Notwithstanding, last week there is an institution or a person who came to the office and requested the Hinduism to be in this Gambia to come and practice. And then they said they are going to bring their Hindu leader who is sick to be treated in the Gambia, and the Gambia is going to benefit A, B, C, and D in accepting. I said, no, we can't accept such a thing. It's a foreign religion. We are in our problem. We already have our problem in this country. You want to combat our problem by bringing another religion? No, we can't accept that. Went to the Minister of Justice, went to different institutions, and they told him the same thing. So we all have to be players in this. Let us understand and dichotomize what we mean by religion and what is behavior. And let's everybody understand that we've got to live by our own mantra and our own religion as stipulated in the Holy Quran. Let everybody follow a religion. Not because I'm Muslim, I should jeopardize or provoke the Christians. I'm not fair. Not because I should jeopardize the Ahmadiyas. I will not be fair. You see, we all have our emotions, but let us never be derived by our emotions to support or abuse any religion. It's not fair. To me, I believe in that, and I'm going to definitely live by that. Land issues is precarious. We agree and accept. Honorable member, what you've mentioned about land is the truth in this country. But we are trying to live above the waves now. We are definitely working. You see this team here, they are relentlessly working 24/7. I think you've met this team starting it out in this country. For the first time, the whole team here went around the whole country. The whole country and into every district of this country, for that matter, talking to authorities about their problems. And this problem includes land. So we are on top of issues of land, and we are planning to make sure we address this problem. But one key fundamental issue that can help us address this once and for all is this cadastral system that we are working on. And it's going to solve the Gambia problem on land. Not only our dispute, but when you come, they will make you okay with that. Physical planning, yes. Fiscal Planning Director is here. But do you believe that even this morning he was in the office in a meeting about situations affecting his office? One, capacity is a problem in this country, and that's why I cherish when the PS mentioned that we want to use RBI as a faculty where we would train our personnel to feed the ministry and to feed the country on its specialities. Physical planning, that's it. No, we need it. It's a need. Ministry have it. They have the health unit that is feeding the hospital. Education has it, feeding them. Agriculture has it, feeding the sector. So why can't the Ministry of Local Government have it to feed the sector? And this is why we are having a problem with our local government, with our physical planning and our lands. This is our only problem. Community development in itself. But we are very comfortable that every village you see in this country, there is a community development just at the back. So that's an achievement for this country. But physical planning, notwithstanding having a problem, we having a serious problem. They identify the problem we all have, but look at the capacity of about 5 people in the ministry. 5, 6, not even 10 specialists in the country. That directorate. With only a secretary and what else? Nothing more than that. All right, they have their personnel within the regions, but how do they execute and function? When we talk about demolitions, we need people to be provided with security. The lives of these people, the work of it's been threatened every day. We see it in the media. And sometimes it's ourselves who go to engineer these type of problems within the community. But again, you people have more power, more authority to stand on the platform to mitigate the Gambia from that type of predicament. We need to be disciplined. The society needs discipline in approaching the authority of this country, or else we are doomed. What has been said about other areas in this country, Salaji, yesterday on the press, can a country live like that? No. No country can survive in that type of situation. Whereby you are threatening the workers' life, the workers' family, the workers' prestige, the workers' dignity. It can't be possible. So the policymakers of the state definitely have a lot to do in that. The notification, for physical planning to also operate functionally, they need notification from National Assembly members, from councillors, from alikalis, and so on for these encroachments, like we did in Ciara. We went out in the street, walking the whole length of the village to make sure every shop that has an encroachment on the road is demolished and must go inside. Yeah. If everybody stands and do that, definitely we'll have a free street. But Talinde, you go to Talinde, you look at the street, very soon we will not be able to pass. And this is exactly what is happening. They demolish and they come back. They demolish and they come back. They demolish and they come back. When will we stop it? You must put it in your platform to be talking about it every day, everywhere, and to make people stop it. You see, when passing, you call the police, come. No, keep on there, come on, not able to now. If that one stops by your call of the police, others will emulate. They will not come there because of the they will die. So we have to be pragmatic in that one. The town planning, when we went on tour the whole country, at every platform, we mentioned that fortunately for us, we are able to meet all the alikalis of this country. We told them, if you need your towns to be planned or your villages, call any physical planning officer who is attached to the governor's office to come and help you. I told the members the last time we went on tour, there was only one Fula village I had this from. Nobody else interested, only a Fula community. I was very ashamed because they should not have been the people anyway. The policies and so on, the rest assured that he is taking care of that, and our office definitely would want to present all these things at the National Assembly, and we expect the committee to be first consulted on this, discuss about it before it goes to Parliament, and then that means we want to police it before we get to Parliament, because policing it here is going to allay a lot of problems when we go to Parliament. When we go to Parliament with our policy program, you will not be the people to argue with us this time because we have already agreed in principle with you people. Then the others can argue and ask questions, not so. And you will be there to answer the questions on our behalf. That's what Parliament committees are all about, right? If there is anything I left, I'm not sure. Resolve, change. Yes, you're talking about our problems about land and physical planning, Department of Land. You see, they are the two judges, they're looking at me, but they're also looking at you. They are prepared to make decisions. Every sector has a problem in this country, and we are trying to revive it. We are energized by seeing the young faces we are seeing in front of us. Very young faces. And I think they are already ready to make sure we move. If you are ready for us to move, we are always ready to, because I think we are older. So if the young are ready to move, the old people are also more ready to move, and we can make this country a better place for all of us. Thank you so much, Honorable Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Very good. I think time is going. Time. We can just try to cut the session here. And also, once again, to congratulate you and thank you and your team for coming. And we understand, we have all what you said, and definitely we will support you. Supporting you, we are supporting ourselves, we are supporting the country. So, and your ministry, I know the ministry, I know all of them, and I know the challenges that they face. By having this committee here and being the chairperson, we will work together just to address whatever. But notwithstanding, our doors are open. Whatever you think, let's see each other as partners, no matter what happens. For us, we are not here based on party or whatever. I just want to make this thing clear. We all want to achieve something together. And also to your team also, you are the technocrats. Whatever you bring here, we will defend it to make it happen. But when it is approved, please implement it so that at least the subsequent years we can move on. Because this is not going to be the end of life. I know you will have more ideas as we are going along. New innovations will come. Just like this mapping, we are very, very particular about that. All the countries, wherever you go, you don't have any problem. But it's only in the when you want to direct somebody, you start identifying physical trees around Magobi, so it's just it's rather unfortunate. But we know with your expertise, you can definitely do it. Together, we all do it with our support. So on that note, I just want to thank you once again for coming and assure you of our support. So on that note, we can pray and close the meeting. Thank you.